Q&A time. Let's get started. I'm cutting and I've lost kilos, but I don't see any visual difference. How come the weight is going down, but visually it's not changing? Here's what's going on. You've probably not lost a lot of weight. You told me yourself that it's a slow cut, small deficit. Okay, the weight loss that you're experiencing is probably water retention. And usually when guys start cutting their first week or so, they start stripping off the pounds. But it's not fat, okay? In most cases, it's not fat. Unless you're in an extreme deficit, typically it's going to be an overweight people. Well, I would assume that what you're experiencing is water weight. You're losing off all that water weight. So I would strongly recommend that you stay a little bit more patient and give it some time. And also recognize this. It takes big weight jumps to see visual differences, especially if you're a novice, all right? The more advanced you are, like you'll see it every 5-10 pounds, you see a visual difference. Like for me, I've dropped about 12 pounds or so, and it's like, holy crap, day and night. But if you're a novice lifter who doesn't have a lot of muscle mass to begin with, kind of that skinny fat look, well, dropping 10 pounds isn't going to do that much, right? So what you have to do, my friend, is stay more patient, keep focusing on building muscle, and understand that it's going to take a bit of time. But when you start losing some serious poundages here, like if you go from 300 to 200, you're going to see a visual difference. So what's going on for you right now is there's water retention, which you've lost. That's why you're seeing the number go down. And also you haven't lost a lot of fat. But once everything is taken care of, which will take a little bit of time, you'll see the visual difference. Could you build a nice chest with push-up variations? If so, how? You absolutely can, my friend. The push-up is a time-tested classic movement, and it builds nice pecs. What I would recommend first and foremost is to use a lot of volume. Not 3x10. I'm talking 4 sets of 25, 5 sets of 50, stuff like that. High reps, man. What do you think they do in prison? And for anyone who says, oh, the science, guys, we have experience. We have anecdote. High rep push-ups work. It's not just going to build your endurance. You're going to get some nice pecs out of it. Do reps of 25 to 50. Trust me, you'll see. Also, be sure to use different variations of the push-up, not just the regular. Do the diamond as well. Do the one arm if you can. Do the incline push-ups. Do ring push-ups. There's a lot of advanced styles that exist, which is going to challenge your training. And if you want to go more conventional, like doing 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps, but then you're slowing down your tempo a little bit, lowering the rest, and you're choosing harder variations, I would say convict conditioning style, that works fine. The point is, you want to find variations that are difficult and challenging the rep ranges that you're trying to improve upon. But if you're asking me how do you build mass with regular push-up, like a really good way to do that is just high volume, blasting the hell out of it. Are the seated rows a good variation to develop the back thickness? Yes. The benefit of the seated row is that it does not tax your lower back whatsoever. That is the key. You can actually do them like 5 times a week. It's not going to impede your recovery. I love seated rows. I do with bands on the daily, okay? If you have a cable machine, even better. So make use of it. Your back will get big from doing it. Imagine you're maxing out the stack, hitting that for high reps. You think you're not going to have a nice back just because it's not free weighted? Don't let the free weight elitists get to you. You can build a nice back with the cable row, the seated cable row. It's a really, really, really good movement. It allows you to get volume without taxing the lower back. That's what it's all about, guys. You have to find movements that work for you. Movements that allow you to get bigger and stronger without interfering with recovery. That's why I'm such a huge fan of block pulls as opposed to doing it off the floor. It's safer. You can do more of it. And obviously, the more volume you get, the bigger you're going to get. So I like the seated cable row. Time tested, very, very effective. And I would definitely make use of it, especially if you notice you have recovery problems in lower back. Yo, Alex, thoughts on seal rows? I like it. This is where cheat meets strict. What I'd recommend is that you start off your back workout with some heavy pulls and some cheat rows, maybe some shrugs right after, and then guess what? Finish off with your strict stuff, man. Do your strict shrugs for volume. Do your farmer walks for volume if you have to. And guess what? Do some seal rows. Or if you want to start that off as a power movement, say like a seal row, Pendlay row combination, excellent. Those two movements tend to build each other quite nicely. Now the benefit of the seal row is that dead stop, no cheating. That's a real strict row. And you'll find that a lot of guys who are good at cheat rows, they do pretty good on the seal rows. Trust me, they do. So if guys want to really be strict with their rows, do the seal row. Lie down on the bench, elevate yourself. You'll be amazed. I like doing it with dumbbells, with a barbell, everything. It's a fantastic exercise. And of course, it's time tested. Usually guys overseas tend to do this though. It's not really common in commercial gyms, but over there in Russia, bro, they're killing it with this lift. So give it a shot. What do you think of intermittent fasting? Okay, I think it's awesome, but it's nothing magical. It's just another way of manipulating your calorie intake. And of course, there are other little benefits here and there, like appetite control. Some people argue more concentration, more focus, stuff like that. I've heard growth hormone changes, although I don't think that's significant to have an effect on your physique. But I think it has other benefits, maybe cognitive benefits, stuff like that. I've heard some guys report insulin benefits as well. So I'm not going to comment too much on it, but I think fasting is a great way to delay the calorie process. It's a great way to get your day started. And I'll be thinking about food all the time. I fast on the daily. I only eat at around 5:30, 6 o'clock. Like, let's say between 5 and 7. That's when I have my first meal, p.m., okay? And it works well for me. Otherwise, I'll be eating all kinds of food all day. And I find personally that when you have your breakfast, it sets the motion for the rest of the day, man. It's really hard to be in a deficit when you have your breakfast. Just speaking off my personal experience here. So I like it because it allows for appetite control and calorie restriction, even if you go to a buffet, for instance, because it's hard to eat a lot of meals at the end of the day. If you have like 2 big meals, it's easier to enter a deficit. So I think that for that purpose alone, it's a great tool. But it's not magical. It's nothing magical. It's just another. Do you consider the end of the workout a cool down since they're easier on the CNS compared to the main leg exercise and presses? Kind of. That's an interesting way to put it. That's quite interesting indeed. But yeah, I mean, it depends how hard you're going on your accessories. Like, it kind of is a cool down, but at the same time, you're dying. Like, when I do my 300 push downs at the end of a workout, it's a cool down. Certainly, I'm not straining as hard compared to like a bench press 1 rep max, but it burns. It burns my triceps. And one might argue that it's more painful in the sense because you got to do more of it. So in some cases, yeah, it's easier. It's like, oh, thank God I'm at the accessories. In other cases, like, oh, man, I don't want to do this. Like sometimes after a back workout, your forearms are killing you. Everything's killing. And you got to hit some curls after. Some people don't want to do that. So for some, it's a drag. Others, it's a cool down. I mean, it depends what type of person you are. But for me, when I do my accessories, I go ham on it. Like when I do, for example, a seated dumbbell shrug, 5x20, that's not a cool down. That's rough. When I do my band face pulls, kind of a cool down. When I do my curls, not so much. My lower back and abs, not so much. So I would say it's easier, but I wouldn't really call it a cool down. Like, it really depends how intense you're going on the accessories, and that's going to vary from person to person. But interesting question nonetheless. Terrible elbow pain after doing a lot of rack pulls above the knee, power shrugs, farmer carries, and suitcase, deadlift partial holds, how to fix. Honestly, I've never heard of this problem arising. I think you're the first to ever comment this on my channel. So I'm not sure what's going on, but I would suspect that there's another issue going on. These exercises are aggravating even more. I would strongly recommend that you check out my injury prevention playlist and watch my video on elbow pain. That's going to involve doing a lot of band pushdowns at home, a lot of band curls, and even finger extensor work. So you probably have a case of a tennis elbow or golfer's elbow, and you got to work on that a little bit. Try to rehabilitate the area, and you shouldn't have pain when you do rack pulls or shrugs. I don't know why you're getting pain on that. Maybe you have hypermobile elbows, and you're like really hyperextending. I don't know. This is the first time I hear this, and I am not a medical professional, so I can't diagnose whatever you're experiencing. So either keep working on the rehabilitation stuff and see what works for you, or maybe consult a professional, because I'm not a professional in this department, and I don't want to give you advice that might harm you. But I don't know what's going on here. I've never experienced that personally, and I actually have real hypermobility in the elbows, so I don't know. But it sounds to me like you have tennis elbow, golfer's elbow, and you got to get it sorted out. So I wish you the best, brother. Keep me updated. Let me know if you find any good resources so I could share with the other guys, and that's it, man. Best of luck. Is the hip thrust the best glute exercise ever? In my opinion, no. I mean, they're good. They work. There's a lot of testimonials surrounding it, but to me, it's not the king of glute builders. I find that the reverse lunge is much better. Like, if we're talking about bang for your buck, reverse lunge, man. Not only will reverse lunges make you strong at other movements, and they're very athletic, but, like, it works. It freaking works. Just based off my experience, I find that it's better. And even training like a powerlifter, basic squats and deadlifts with some accessories here and there, to me, that's going to do the most for your glutes. So train like a powerlifter, hit some reverse lunges. That's the ultimate way. And if you want to do some hip thrusts after that, be my guest. I think it's going to help you. It's not a bad movement at all. I include it in some of my programs. But I don't think it's magical. I don't think it's the king of all glute builders. If I can only pick one movement for the glutes, it would be the reverse lunge, hands down. Thoughts on the carnivore diet? It's basically 100% meat. Check out Sean Baker. Okay, first of all, this Sean Baker guy got his license revoked. Okay, and there's a lot of people on the internet that have been criticizing him with good reason. So first of all, humans are not carnivores. So I don't think we should be eating a carnivorous diet. And last I checked, I can't really find any studies that demonstrate that eating this way will reverse heart disease or any type of thing like that. In fact, we tend to see the opposite, where eating a lot of these foods actually promotes disease. So I'm not sure why someone would follow a diet like this. I think it's a horrible move to make for your health. I don't recommend it whatsoever. I think the consensus is clear that following a plant-based diet is very good for you. A diet that is high in fruits and vegetables, that's where it's going to be. You think broccoli is going to kill you? You think broccoli is the enemy? I don't think so. I really don't think so. And I think that a meat-only diet is a horrible, horrible decision for your health. And I would not recommend that whatsoever. I think an omnivorous diet or a full-on vegan plant-based diet is a lot more doable than that. A restrictive diet where you're only eating meat, to me, it's a one-way ticket to fucking up your health permanently. So I would never recommend a diet like that. I suggest that you follow a balanced diet with some clean foods as a whole, and you're not going to have to worry about anything. But I think a diet like this will actually promote disease, and I don't think it's going to reverse heart disease or any of that stuff, whereas a plant-based diet will. So I think there's a good reason why this guy got his license revoked. And there are many people who are far more intelligent than me who have been discussing this. So I suggest you go do some research. I'm not the authority figure on this, but I can assure you that a meat-only diet, a carnivorous diet, is not what humans should be doing. All right, we're not carnivores, period. Yo, Alex, what are your thoughts on weighted dips with a pause stretch at the bottom? Really, really, really good. Already the weighted dip provides an immense stretch at the bottom. I would equate it to a camber bar bench. Now you pause as well. That's serious. Serious, man. And the pause can actually take off about a plate, realistically. I would say 25 to 35 pounds, or going from a triple to a single. That's how powerful the pause is. So it's a great ego checker as well. You want to get more out of less weight, do the pause dip. Amazing way to stretch. It's going to build the pec strength that you need if you have lagging pecs. It's win-win in all respects. It's really, really, really good. So give the pause dip a shot. I think you're very much going to enjoy it. Thoughts on deadlifting from the knees as a last resort for overloading traps and upper back when you don't have rack or blocks? I think that's a pretty bad last resort because you're not going to be able to go that heavy if you're deadlifting off your knees. You're probably going to hit the same numbers as your regular deadlift, and in that case, just do a regular deadlift. I don't really like that, no. Or just do shrugs instead of deadlifting off the knees. That's a bit weird. The range of motion is it's going to be weird, man. Even the seated deadlift has its limitations there. But I would much rather you do that. A seated deadlift over a deadlift off the knees, okay? And also, why does it have to be a last resort, man? Why don't you go on Amazon or eBay and buy yourself a mat pack? You know those little puzzle packs that you use for kids or in karate classes? You know what I'm talking about, right? Buy a 12-pack, fuse 6 of them together and 6 on the other side, and you got some mats. And it's going to be quite durable. Those mats will be able to sustain a lot of weight, even more than the aerobic steps at your local gym. I've used aerobic steps up to 800 pounds, bro. Didn't break. Nothing happened. So if you just buy a little puzzle set, it's going to cost you $10, $12. Bring that to the gym in a little backpack. Stack them up to get the height that you need. You're going to be just fine, my friend. Or just make mats yourself. Buy some horse stall mats at Home Depot, cut them up in the shape that you like. Maybe screw in some wood at the same time. I mean, there's some guys who made some tutorials. I know Alan Thrall did one, so check that out. But get some blocks, dude. Why are you going to deadlift off your knees? If you don't have a power rack, do deadlifts off the floor or power shrugs. And if you don't want to do that, just make your own blocks. Get some type of elevation going on. It could be weight plates too. If you have rubber plates in your gym or bumper plates, stack it on that. But deadlifting off the knees, that's not my first line of defense, man. Why do I find it much easier to dumbbell press than bench press? I don't know. What do you mean by easier? Can you really quantify that it's easier? Like say you're lifting 200 pounds on the bench press for 5 reps. Do you mean to tell me that you're doing 100 pounds on each hand on the dumbbell press and you're hitting that for 10 reps? Like, what do you mean easier? I don't understand what you mean by that. Like, it's kind of vague, Maybe you're telling me that it's more comfortable, it feels better for your anthropometry. And in that case, I would say it's because of the free rotation of the hands. You're tucking your elbows in a little bit more, neutral at the bottom, and you're accommodating for your anthropometry. Also, the dumbbell press is a partial lift. Contrary to what some people might say on YouTube, it's not full range of motion if you're using heavy weights. As the dumbbells get bulkier, the range of motion decreases more and more. Do a shoulder press. Tell me if when you touch your shoulders that you're doing full range for your anthropometry. No, you're not. When dumbbells get bigger, range of motion is decreased. In some cases, it's actually easier to use heavier weights because there's less range of motion. The only way you can get full range is if you bring your elbows out like really far out to the side and you're bringing the weight like low, like on the outside. But that can hurt your shoulders, you know? So I wouldn't recommend that. But yeah, it's a partial. Maybe that's why it's easier. Maybe it's because the dumbbells are bulkier. You're doing half reps. It's possible you're doing half reps too. A lot of guys don't touch your chest. I don't know, man. You have to be more specific when you say easier. What do you mean by easier? I really don't understand what you mean by that. The only thing that I could say is that it probably feels more natural, you know? And maybe a guy like you would benefit from a Swiss bar, you know? If you like that neutral position on a dumbbell press, get yourself a Swiss bar, do the same thing. But yeah, just be a little bit more specific next time and I'll be able to help you out more. Alex, is it true that muscle is a byproduct of strength? Well, gaining muscle is a byproduct of stimulating all the growth factors in your body. That's why if you do nothing but inject, your muscles will actually get bigger. This is proven. If you just take a bunch of testosterone, like pharma grade in high doses, you're going to get bigger without doing anything. So if you stimulate muscle protein synthesis and you're getting all the growth factors, your muscles are going to grow. That's one thing, you know? But instead of saying, is it a byproduct of strength? I would say your muscles will gradually get bigger over time with progressive overload, which means stress in the body. Gradual stress increase. And that does not necessarily have to be heavy weights. I'm actually going to be releasing a video tomorrow on this, so be sure to check it out. But it could be a multitude of things. It could be increasing the sets, the reps, the overall volume, range of motion, tempo, things of that nature. But yeah, I would say for a natural lifter, if you raise your performance over time, you will certainly get bigger. And that should be the focus. It shouldn't be to be stagnant year round. You should be trying to get better in some type of way. Yo, do you train calves? Well, I used to train my calves quite heavily back in the day, and that's why they're quite nice. You know, and I used to do track and field as well. But I took years off. I think I stopped training calves in 2015. But now I started again. I'm going to start training it seriously at home. And I think they're going to blow up again. I think my calves respond pretty well to training. And it's not because I have amazing genetics. No, it's because I train them. Most guys don't train their calves hard or properly. They use really bad form on their calf raises, their ego lifting. I'm going to make some videos about proper calf training. But to give you a little sneak peek, it involves stretching at the bottom for at least 2 to 5 seconds, no bouncing crap, and squeezing. Yeah, you got to squeeze your calves at the top. You got to flex them. You got to stretch at the bottom, and you got to check your ego, man. And I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to build really nice calves at home or even at the gym. So look forward to that. Alex, what books and strategies are good for becoming a better public speaker? Well, the best thing you could do is acquire experience, okay? No matter how many books you read, that's not going to change anything unless you start making videos or you start speaking in public. You have to get experience. Some guys are naturally good speakers. More power to them. I wasn't. For me, it took years of actually speaking in public, you know? I even took a drama class at some point. I took a drama class in the real world, right? I started making these goddamn YouTube videos. And over time, I got better at speaking in public. Now it's actually one of my strong suits. But writing used to be my specialty, not public speaking. I would have much preferred back in the day to, instead of making YouTube videos, write articles. Because that's really where I was good, okay? But yeah, it takes experience. And if I can recommend you anything, Dale Carnegie's book is pretty good. I think it's called The Quick and Easy Way to Effective Public Speaking. That's a must read. And also, follow guys that you want to be like. So if there's someone who speaks in a way that you enjoy, just mirror him. Start copying some of his mannerisms. Pay attention to his body language. Pay attention to his tone of voice. Pay attention to his diction, okay? And the more you listen to guys who you want to be like, you're going to start resembling them. I know that if I start watching a lot of videos from people who are unlike myself, I start exhibiting their mannerisms. You know, if that person is very vulgar, I'll start being more vulgar. If the person is very quiet and calm and well-spoken, I'll emulate that a little bit. So my recommendation is to read that book that I told you. and find guys you want to be like and get some experience. Those 3 things is going to help you become a better public speaker. What I'm saying is 100% experience based. So try that out, and I hope it helps you out, man. What's your opinion on taking some time away from friends to pursue some personal development and maybe starting a YouTube channel, which I've always dreamt of but didn't have the courage around my friends? I'm talking going off grid completely. Would it be a good strategy or just silly? Well, what do you think I did? Pretty much that. I didn't talk to my friends for a very long time. I isolated myself. While my friends were going out, having fun, partying, drinking, doing all these great things, you know what I was doing? Studying in a fucking library for 3 hours. Being all alone. And those were some of the darkest times of my life. I'm not gonna lie, those times were fucking horrible. And I would never want to go back to that. I was completely miserable. I felt like shit. I hated life. One may use the term depressed, but I wouldn't use that terminology. Absolutely not. It's just called a rough time. Grinding mode. That's when I was grinding the most in my life. And I had to stop talking to my friends. Some of them I don't even talk to today anymore. My close friends, I can only count them on one hand, I would say. My really, really close friends, the ones that I fucking love to death, man. Like the ones that are like family to me, one hand, easily, you know? It's rare to find people like that. And most of these people, I've known them for years. Probably like 15 years or more, realistically. So these are childhood friends of mine. And it's rare that I make friends nowadays, which I'm really close with, you know? It's kind of rare. But yeah, I had to take some time off, man. I isolated myself in a stupid library, reading books all day. You know? It wasn't fun. That's what you have to do. You have to get serious. Disassociate. Don't even go out. Don't even go out, man. When I started getting serious, when I started getting my shit together, I didn't go out at all. I became a social moron. I became completely oblivious to what was going on in the world. In a cave, like a little hermit, doing nothing but work, grinding. And yeah, it was a horrible time in my life, but it paid off. Oh, it paid off all right. Now I have the freedom that some of my older friends will never have. Or maybe they'll have it, but I'm just saying. Sacrifice now for the betterment of tomorrow. It will be worth it. We live in a society where we want everything right now. Give it to me now. Nobody wants to put in the work. Same in the fitness community. Guys get on a bunch of roids. They want a body now. Not understanding that you got to build your base. So that's what I would recommend. Yeah, disassociate a little bit. Stop talking to your friends. If they think there's something wrong with you, fuck them. Doesn't matter. You'll find new people eventually. Or if you don't, if they're real friends, they'll come back to you once you've made it, you know? But recognize this, they might treat you a bit differently, all right? But yeah, I totally recommend that. Isolate yourself. Be about your business. Be about your money. Do what you got to do to succeed, man. Because at the end of the day, your success is the most important thing in the world. It's your life, and you have to get this taken care of. You got to get your financial game in check. You got to get your life in check. Whatever you're trying to improve upon. Now, you mentioned the YouTube channel. Do I recommend that? You could. I would say read some books on business and look into multiple different avenues, right? But I would say that the internet is the way of the future for the most part. As of right now, we're seeing the internet. There's a lot of money to be made, and there's a global scale here, you know. And I would recommend the internet, definitely. I don't know what type of business you want to get into, but do some research about your niche. Find out what the needs are. I mean, just you're gonna have to look this up. This is not really a channel where I discuss all those things, but yeah, you can do that if you want. You can start a YouTube channel, but it's not gonna be fun at the beginning. Before you even make a few dollars, it might take you a year. And actually, because of YouTube's new policies, if you're just starting off now, it's much more difficult. When I started, it was kind of like the last point. I was in 2013, you know, which was already pretty late there, but it was like the dip was getting lower and lower, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, sacrifice now for the betterment of tomorrow. Do what you got to do. I don't know what type of business you want to get into, what type of self-improvement you're looking for, but yeah, stay away from those friends who are putting you down and be productive. And it's going to be hell. It's going to be dark. You're going to be grinding. But it's going to be worth it in the end. Trust me, my friend. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A video. Put some more questions down below, and I'll answer them all next week.